We are live. The markets are not open yet, but we are live. Depending on the timing, I scheduled it for 9, so maybe I'm 14 minutes late, or maybe I'm 1 minute early because I dropped a message saying we'd do 9:15. There's a massive snowstorm outside, so I had to literally shovel to get to the office, or I wouldn't have made it. So absolutely wild. Hopefully it's sunnier and warmer where you are because it is absolutely crazy here. But I appreciate you guys being here. Michelle, Victory, Blessings, Ashley, Football Market. I appreciate you guys being here. As always, a lot to break down, a lot to go over. Yesterday was a really interesting day in the market. And today we're going to do another giveaway. We'll give it to the second most engaged subscriber. Second most engaged subscriber wins a 5K, 5K 3-step challenge. And Michelle, I remember my promise yesterday, so I won't forget that you have not yet won an account. Afternoon in London. Hopefully it's nicer in London, even rain. I don't know. I don't mind the snow though. I don't mind the snow. Let's take a look at what's going on. Oh, this is actually interesting. I'm seeing this for the first time. Grazi, welcome. So as per usual, if you guys are new here, if you're not used to the live stream, drop any questions you have in the chat and I'll take a periodic look at the chat. So if you drop your question or comment or whatever and I don't get to it right away, I will come back. I got to sort of swipe back and forth between all the tabs that I have open. So this is actually the first time I'm seeing this 1.5% drop on Bitcoin, which is very interesting. S&P is down 0.2% at a pre-market open. We're 15 minutes away from market open, but you can see here the ZQQ is basically the Nasdaq, but CAD hedged. 2.26% rally yesterday, so really a strong rally. But we're seeing a move risk off right now. Even pound yen is down, Aussie yen is down, Nikkei down. I have no idea what happened. I woke up, everything looked normal, and now things are not looking quite as bullish. So we see the last 1 hour print, 15-minute chart. We're getting a sell-off here in Bitcoin. And again, you don't have to trade Bitcoin, you have to buy Bitcoin, but it's a good gauge for risk sentiment. So that's quite interesting there. And gold had an insane day, back up above 4,100. S&P, let me just pull up the headline news to see if there's anything crazy. Senate passes bill to end government shutdown, ascending to the House. That's interesting. So it must be kind of a buy the rumor, sell the news situation. We had that rally on Sunday with crypto because of the tariff dividend news sitch here on the market. So that's very interesting. My laptop's lagging a little bit here, so let me just clear up some of my tabs so that you guys can have a smooth live stream. Nvidia stock up. Let's see here. Nvidia stock. Nvidia is up in the pre-market hours. You can see that guy there. So we're going to break it all down right now. And again, if you guys have any questions, drop them in the chat and I'll do a periodic look over to the chat to see what's going on. I appreciate you guys being here. So markets rip. Gold's back and Burry warns. Very interesting about Michael Burry. And again, remember, buy one, get three ends on Friday. So you've got just 3 days, 72 hours left until our buy one, get three ends. Okay. So what is going on? Markets rip, Europe just declared war on cash. That's an interesting one. Nvidia climbs, Starbucks strikes. Warren Buffett wrote a Thanksgiving letter. And this politician bought $162 million of Bitcoin. Yesterday's numbers, S&P up 1.54%, NASDAQ 2.27%, just green across the board, absolutely green. We closed 105.9 on Bitcoin, and now we're at whatever it was. Now we're at 1045. So just in $1 trillion added in the U.S. stock market today. So it was a great day all around. NVIDIA was up 5.86%, which is its largest daily gain since November. So just went absolutely crazy. I guess everyone had one too many drinks this weekend because traders rolled into Monday buzzing with optimism, or maybe it's the thought that the 40 plus day government shutdown might finally be over. Either way, the Nasdaq ripped 2%, and crypto traders were partying even harder, adding $150 billion in market cap in just one day. So huge day for crypto as well. You can see here BTC up 4.5%, Ethereum 6.5, XRP, all kinds of crazy stuff on crypto. Even Microsoft broke its 8-day losing streak, its longest since 2011, with a modest 1% gain. Now the Senate still has to vote and the House needs to sign off, but markets are already pricing in an 87% chance that the shutdown wraps up this week. So it is a bank holiday today, as Grazi mentions. However, the markets are open. So, maybe if people are on vacation, there won't be as much activity, but the markets are open today. Why does this matter? Right now, the markets are like a bipolar teenager. I've been saying this for the last 2 weeks. One day we're euphoric, the other day existential threat. The next, so we're getting good news and bad news, and the market can't decide which one we need to, pay more attention to. And so we've had good news yesterday with the end of the government shutdown. So it's just less uncertainty equals more green candles. It's really as simple as that. Gold is also back on the throne. Gold had an insane day, up over 2.5%, and now holding well above $4,000. It's no coincidence as this came within 24 hours after Trump promised everyone a $2,000 tariff dividend, because nothing says fiscal responsibility like handing out free money. Okay, so it's just insane. This isn't going to happen. There's no way that this is actually going to happen. The odds on poly market are slim to none of this tariff dividend. Tariff, look at this guy. We're even down to a 10% chance. Will Trump create a tariff dividend in 2025? So the market ripped on it, but again, there's no chance that this actually goes through. There's no chance that this actually happens. So that's what helped gold particularly rip higher on the day. And gold is still up 55% year to date. Okay. This one's interesting. Michael Burry thinks big tech is cooking the books. Let's take a look at this. Michael Burry from The Big Short. Michael Burry has said that Oracle and Meta could be overstating earnings by 26.9% and 20.8%. He adds it gets worse, and more details are coming on November 5th. So pretty wild. If we look at the comments, screw this perma bear. He's called 40 out of the last 2 recessions. Not wrong about that one. But if we look at what's going on, he's basically saying that these two companies are artificially inflating their profits by stretching out how long they say their equipment lasts. Basically, he's saying they're using creative math to make to make their AI spending boom look healthier than it is. So it has to do with depreciation. It has to do with, just basically how they're putting things on the books. But of course, Meta still climbed 2% on the news, and Oracle was flat. So we'll see what happens. But obviously, I think many of the AI companies are totally overvalued. Nvidia's insane. Palantir, don't even get me started on Palantir, but they basically go up forever until they don't. So who's to say, what's going to happen? Poly market, government shutdown, November 12th to the 15th, 95 cooked in, a 25% chance of a decrease. That's been moving all over the place. I think it dropped below 70% yesterday, actually. Yeah, you could see here yesterday, November 5th. Yeah, November 5th, it was back at 65%, but still not quite as high as October at 90%. So it's sort of hovering around that 70% range. Yeah. So pretty interesting there. And that's what the market cares about the most. Drop your questions in the chat. I know, I'm sorry, my computer's a little laggy today. I don't know what's going on. So I do apologize. I don't know if I need a better laptop. I don't know what I need, but I need something that's better than what I currently have. Pulling up the charts. Let's see here. 1.46. Gold is still ripping higher. Let's see if there's any technical setups on any of these. If my if the stream goes black or whatnot, it will come back. So I do apologize. But from a technical perspective, to take a buy here on gold, once again, there's like never any pullbacks. It's so difficult to find a technical spot on gold to have that pullback. And I mean that's what we're seeing right here. It's just absolutely ripped all the way from 4K to 4150. So totally insane. People are saying I need a better laptop, better internet. I have like the best internet. I just yeah, maybe my MacBook's getting a little old. A little bit of a pullback to get in on gold. I agree. Going to 4300. Yeah, I think let's see here on the higher time frame. The all-time high was 4376-ish. So we're only 6% away. We're only 6% away from all-time highs, which is pretty crazy. We stayed above that 50-day moving average. Yeah. A short could be interesting too, but fundamentally, I think gold's going to go up. Gazzy says, "Hi Matt, do you think gold is going for all-time highs?" Yeah, I think gold will go back to all-time highs. Who knows when though? Right? Is it going to be this year? Seasonality is important, and it usually does very well in December. But we've had such a bullish year. Who knows what's going to happen? But yeah, usually December is a very good month for gold. In terms of a retracement, if just from a technical standpoint, if we were interested in shorts, we had a beautiful double top right there. I mean, that was such an obvious, great trade to take there. If we draw our fib, we have broken through the 38, not much of a reaction at the 50. And then the 61 is at 40, just below 4,200. But we have this key level right here, which was previous support. So just from a technical standpoint, if we're trying to see, well, when could we get some sort of pullback, that 61 could be interesting there. So I'll be keeping an eye on that. Sean asks, would the Lark 3.0, is the one-step profit target going to be the same as it is now? Yes. The one-step profit target on the one step will remain at 10%, but we have some other changes that are coming. Some very exciting changes. Michelle says, Matt, share the coffee. Just a filter coffee today. Nothing too exciting. It's internet issue. AZ says, I have like the highest upload speed that my internet provider has. So I need to do something better. What does the government shutdown ending mean for crypto? Ashley asked. It's just risk on. So that's why we had the market rip earlier, like Sunday and yesterday. Now I think we're getting a little bit of a buy the rumor, sell the news situation because it looks like it's going to go through. Let's see. Matt, how to buy Lark funding shares? AZ content asks. I don't know what you mean. Victory Blesses. How do you guys make money? Yeah, I'd like to know too how to make some money. Matt, what's your analysis on gold price close today? Yeah, I don't guess today's closing price, but we're seeing that risk on. Ashley asks, how would you still pay traders a salary in drawdown? Well, you'll have to wait and see. Easy says, your support team deserves a raise. I had an issue with Magic Keys and they helped me. Well, I'm really happy to hear that. Thanks for sharing. God's going to retrace, I think. Yeah, gold. Okay, not God's going to retrace. Gold's going to retrace. Okay, so let's keep looking at what's going on in the news here. Remember, 4 days left for the buy one, get three. It ends on Friday. So for Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. It's actually 3 days left, not 4 days left. So remember, buy one, get three. It's your last chance to grab a two-step account. We're removing the two-step permanently. So it's real. You're running out of time. You got 3 days, 14 hours left. You buy a 100K, you get 2 free 50K accounts. No news restrictions, no consistency rules, all that good stuff. So that's what's going on today. That is all I have to sell you. Okay, Europe just declared war on cash. This isn't necessarily like a market moving piece of news, but I find it interesting, so that's why I put it in here. The EU officially announced it's going to ban cash transactions over 10,000 euros starting January 2027. Anything above that, you have to go digital. And if you pay more than $3,000 in cash, you'll need to show digital ID, which is just crazy. So, yeah, it's just a total, attack on privacy and freedom in my eyes. And it's another good case for Bitcoin. Remember Balaji Srinivasan? You guys should definitely be following this guy or listening to his podcast or whatnot. He's really great. Let me pull him up. This guy here on Twitter, he's just Balaji. This guy's filthy rich. He worked at Coinbase, literal genius. This guy's so smart. He burned $1 million in 2023, I think it was, with the banking debt crisis. He said that the national debt crisis was going to explode. And so he bet that Bitcoin in 90 days was going to hit $1 million, and he bet $1 million on it. So he lost $1 million, but he did it to like sound the alarms to get everyone to the lifeboat. So I think that connects well to what's going on here. Bitcoin's a good solution to this, overreaching. Nvidia carried the entire market on its back. Again, this is why you have to be paying attention to the whole market, because Nvidia is so massive, $5 trillion market cap. If it drops 5%, if it goes up 5%, it's going to drag the indexes with it. And so that's why it's so important that you have to be looking at these things. You could be trading Euro USD. You still have to be paying attention to it. It doesn't matter what you're trading. You still have to pay attention to it. So really, really important that you pay attention to that. Starbucks, more than 100 lawmakers are pushing Starbucks to restart union talks, with strikes brewing in 25 cities on November 13th, aka Red Cup Day. Our take: Starbucks coffee isn't even coffee. It's liquid sugar with a loyalty program. I hate Starbucks. I've said it before, but kind of interesting that, there's this threat of union talks, which Starbucks has been really strongly against. Their stock today was up 0.94, but year to date, they're down 7%. And over 5 years, it's just an awful stock to be in. It was good before, right? In the early 2000s, you would have crushed it, but now it's not so hot. CoreWeave more than doubled revenue this quarter as it keeps its AI empire. CoreWeave, this guy crushed it yesterday. Oh my goodness. Where's my information? What the heck? No, I thought it climbed. Oh yeah. Okay. They doubled revenue this quarter, but the stock absolutely crashed. So you can see here, year to date, 142% on CoreWeave, but down 18% in the last 5 days. I was thinking, let me know in the chat, but I was thinking it would be cool if I made like a public stock portfolio. So I made a lot of videos on passing different prop firm challenges. So to do something a little bit different, to make like a $10,000, like put $10,000 into a stock portfolio and make it all public. And so whenever I buy a stock or whatnot, put it in there and show it. Would you guys be interested in me doing that? And then we could like publicly track the portfolio. So if I put like 10K in there, I don't buy a lot of stocks. I'm very, very selective. So it wouldn't be that exciting in terms of like, oh, I bought 3 today, sold 2 tomorrow, and, bought another 5 on Friday. It wouldn't be like that, but I think it could be a cool thing to do. So yeah, let me know in the chat if you guys are interested in that. Barrick Gold is the quiet winner of the year. So if you're interested in gold, there's some interesting gold stocks. Barrick Gold. Look at this guy. Year to date, up 112%. It's a Canadian company, Toronto Stock Exchange. We don't have anything good in Canada, but I guess Barrick Gold is, one thing that's doing all right. So pretty interesting way to play the gold move. You could trade it. You could buy a company that's exposed to it. So Michelle says, why are so many CFD firms incorporating futures? Sudden shift. Why, though? All over my timeline lately. I think it's a big trend. I think futures trading is a big trend. I think a lot of prop firms, they trend hop. But the problem is, I just think what we saw in 2024, we're starting to see with futures prop firms of the race to the bottom in price. So I just think the future space was like 18 months to 2 years behind CFD firms. And so now, it's catching up the same playbook of, tons of, bad actors entering the space, just, no activation fees, low, low, low prices, that sort of thing. So again, typical thing, stick with, the biggest 2 to 3 most reputable firms. I think a lot of traders are going over to futures, not because they love futures, but because they just don't trust CFD firms, which I put a tweet out about that yesterday, which I think is unfortunate because um, it sucks that traders have to change how they're trading because they don't think they're going to get a payout with a CFD prop firm. And I think I put a tweet out about that yesterday. Yeah, this guy here, one second. Yeah, it's sad that futures has gotten so popular, not necessarily because traders prefer it, but because they don't trust CFD firms. So we need to do better. Yeah. Michelle says, kind of true, but rare cases of denied payouts and scalping. Yeah, I'm not the right guy to ask for futures. A lot of people have asked for Lark futures, but I like to do what we do best. I like to stay in our lane. Maybe one day, I'm not saying never, but with Lark 3.0, we're going to be doing something completely different in the CFD space. So I think that will more than enough, that will more than sufficiently differentiate us. So that's what's going on there. What else do we have? Hold on. Let me pull up my. Okay, Tuesday motivation. This guy received like an insane amount of payouts from FTMO. Crazy. $235,000 in FTMO payouts, which is just that's insane. That's a lot of money. That's a lot of money. So good for him. A little bit of Monday motivation. What else do we have? Warren Buffett. Absolutely love Warren Buffett. He wrote a Thanksgiving letter. So Warren Buffett is no longer going to be writing annual shareholders letter for Berkshire Hathaway, which is unfortunate. But he did drop a Thanksgiving letter, which he said is going to be a new annual tradition for him. A few final thoughts. One perhaps self-serving observation. I'm happy to say I feel better about the second half of my life than the first. My advice: don't beat yourself up over past mistakes. Learn at least a little from them and move on. It is never too late to improve. Get the right heroes and copy them. You can start with Tom Murphy. He was one of the best. Remember Alfred Nobel, later of Nobel Prize fame, who reportedly read his own obituary that was mistakenly printed when his brother died and a newspaper got mixed up. He was horrified at what he read and realized he should change his behavior. Don't count on a newsroom mix-up. Decide what you would like your obituary to say and live the life to deserve it. That's just beautiful. That's amazing. Greatness does not come about through accumulating great amounts of money, great amounts of publicity, or great power in government. When you help someone in any of thousands of ways, you help the world. Kindness is costless, but also priceless. Whether you are religious or not, it's hard to beat the golden rule as a guide to behavior. I write this as one who has been thoughtless countless times and made many mistakes, but also became very lucky in learning from some wonderful friends how to behave better. Still a long way from perfect, however. Keep in mind that the cleaning lady is as much a human being as the chairman. So Warren Buffett, the man's 95 years old, the greatest investor of all time. Like, these are just timeless stuff. And more and more, I'm getting away from headline news and just, Warren Buffett, the best investor of all time. He didn't live in New York City. He didn't live on Wall Street, right? He lived in Omaha, where it's quiet. There's nothing going on in Omaha. And it's just kind of this great reminder that there's so much noise with social media too. We all fall prey to it that, you know, you don't need the noise. Forget the noise, focus on timeless wisdom, timeless approaches. Warren Buffett and Charlie Munger would say, they need to make like 3 big decisions a year, right? Nobody has the patience to do what's required to, build the amount of wealth that they have. But they've literally, they don't sell a course, right? If somebody has 0.0001% of their track record, they're selling a course online. and these guys just share everything that they do for free over decades. So it's pretty incredible. It's pretty incredible. Football Market says, "What do you think about following Warren's strategy?" Yeah, I mean, his strategy is very simple. It's just buy great companies. If you had to buy a company and then the stock market closed for 10 years and you couldn't track the price of it, what company would you buy? Right? That's a great filter. Another one is, Charlie's quote of don't buy reasonable businesses at fair prices, buy or don't buy I'm going to get it. It's better to buy It's better to buy a great business at a fair price than it is to buy a fair business at a great price. That's what it is. So just, and it's the filter that they use of just, it's not about volume. It's about just time and just quality. And there's just so much wisdom. So I think it's pretty cool to read up on this sort of thing. The CAD just hit a 10-day high. Canadian dollar touches 10-day high as risk appetite grows. So it's against the US dollar, USD CAD. Canada's economy generated far more jobs than expected for a second straight month in October. I read into the details a little bit, and most of them are part-time jobs, so it's kind of, not the best. They did introduce their budget, which is there's tons of debt on it, so it's a huge deficit. $280 billion over 5 years in infrastructure. So if we pull up the chart, which I will do, so we can take a look, Bitcoin's almost down 2% now. USD CAD. So you could see here on the 4-hour, yeah, USD CAD on the 4-hour, yeah, so like a 10-day high. So it's at 1.4. So it's not strong by any means, but you could see here it's been routinely climbing since June. The US dollar has gained a fair amount of strength there. Taking a look at the charts here, 1.7 on Bitcoin, S&P 0.2%. Yeah, things are dropping. Doing how's inflation though? AZ content says how's inflation though? Inflation's still a little persistent in Canada. Job growth was better last month, like I said, part time, but there's literally no GDP growth. Like GDP per capita is horrendous, absolutely horrendous. So if oil stays firm, because Canada exports a bunch of oil, you can see here oil still above $60. So as long as oil stays above $60, we're probably going to see, the CAD have a little bit of a floor, a little bit of strength. But if the price of oil drops, that's going to be bad catalyst for the Canadian dollar. I had another one in this guy. This billionaire keeps warning us about the national. Oh wait, no. Vivek Ramaswamy, I don't know if you guys know this guy. He was running for president against Trump in 2024. Pretty smart guy, very rich guy. He's incredibly charismatic. His company Strive bought 1,567 Bitcoin worth $162 million, which is pretty insane. Uh, yeah, they use this meme all the time. This one's pretty funny. We are so back. Never wanted Bitcoin to tank so badly before. Big bets like the show Conviction. Yeah, this feels like Ted Cruz killing 6-7. That's funny. So I thought it was pretty cool. I mean, it's a big significant purchase, so it was worth putting in there. And then again, Galio continues to warn. This billionaire continues to warn about the debt cycle. So pretty interesting stuff. And that's mostly it for the day. The memes that we put in. Look at this from Wolf Wall Street. 400-year mortgages, because they just announced 50-year mortgages in the States. $2,000 stimulus checks will solve the cost of living crisis. Crypto guys. So funny from The Hangover. Such a good movie. There's Dave Ramsey. So you can't afford a 30-year mortgage, but you're going to take out a 50-year mortgage to pay $300 less a month, but pay $500,000 more to the bank by the end of the loan. That's correct, Dave. So funny. That's so funny. I think that's it for the memes. So pretty funny stuff. And Bitcoin 1.8% continues to head to the downside here, the 15-minute. Again, if you're new here or you haven't been watching every morning, I bought last week right around this price at 104. So um, I'm hoping that it maybe drops below 100K so I can buy more. If we look at Polymarket, what the odds are looking like there. Let's take a look at that. Evelo says Bitcoin is the hardest asset as long as internet exists. I completely agree. I love Bitcoin. Honestly, I think one of the highest leverage things you guys could do is take 5 hours to learn about Bitcoin. I had a buddy in 2016. Tell me about Bitcoin. We were at Starbucks, and he was telling me, listen, crypto, Bitcoin, all this stuff. And I just was just lazy. I was like, yeah, dude, yeah, okay, yeah. I didn't take it seriously. But if I had done research and just understood what it actually was, my life would have been completely different. I would have bought 2016, I don't know what it was, under 10K. I waited 6 years. I waited till 2022. I bought Bitcoin at 35K. So more than double what I could have got it in 2016. But because I did the research and I bought it and I just understood it, the only way I was able to buy my first house was because of Bitcoin. So I highly encourage you guys to just take just a little bit of time to learn about it. I would recommend the Bitcoin Standard, which is the book that I read. It's a short book. It's not crazy. It's this guy right here. Listen, you pay $20 for the book, and it could save your life. Literally, I'm not saying that in like a hyperbolic way. I literally mean it. So the Bitcoin Standard I read, and it changed my life. I buy a lot of Bitcoin now. So I highly, highly recommend. Somebody said, AZ Content said, I knew about Bitcoin when it was around 2K. Damn, that's crazy. That's absolutely crazy. Michelle says, stack more. Yeah. Football Market says, Matt, what strategy do you think is best for the S&P 500? That depends. Football Market, is it for day trading or is that for long-term investing? I can't really answer until I know that. Bitcoin 1.74%. Let's see on Polymarket. Bitcoin. Oh, what price will Bitcoin hit in November? There is a 31% chance. Oh, this is wild. There's a 31% chance that it will hit 95K, but there's a 30% chance it will hit 115K. So that's a split right down the middle. That's interesting. I don't know about you guys, but I am super excited for Lark 3.0. I'm very, very excited for Lark 3.0. I know we had to delay it 2 weeks. It was supposed to come out November 3rd, but it's coming out now on November 17th. So on Monday, we're launching Lark 3.0. And again, it's going to have features that no other prop firm has. So I'm very excited. 9 a.m. on Monday, we're going to do the live stream. I'll go over everything. I'll have a YouTube video coming out. Everything will be posted. I think it will take a few days for traders to really understand how it works because it's different. And there's nothing wrong with that. So I think it'll take a few days for everyone to kind of really wrap their heads around what the value proposition is and how it's different. I could be wrong. Maybe everyone will understand right before or instantly, right? Maybe, and hopefully we've done a good enough job of explaining everything that's coming and what's different. So I'm quite excited about that. Like I said, that kind of the only sneak peek I've given is, wouldn't it be nice to earn a trading salary? Wouldn't it be nice to earn a payout or a trading salary, whatever you want to call it, even if you're in drawdown? Right? Right now with prop firms, you have to make a profit on your funded account in order to receive a payout. Wouldn't it be nice if you could earn something if you show consistency? If you show, hey, listen, I had some winning trades this month. I had X amount of winning trades. But then I had some losers. And so net, I'm in the red. I'm down 2%. I had a bunch of profitable days, but I also had some losing days. I didn't lose more than 1%. You were risk managed. You didn't try to gamble the account or anything. And you're down 2% for that month. You know what? You showed consistency. You showed professionalism in not going crazy. You risked, you lost 1% per trade, maybe even less. You know what? Here's a salary for showing that consistency, for showing that discipline. I think that would be pretty interesting. Michelle asks, interesting, but is it long-term sustainable? We don't do anything that isn't sustainable. So we've been in business for over 3 years. I will never sacrifice growth. I will never sacrifice sustainability for growth, which is what most prop firms do. Most new prop firms now, they come out with insane rules. Everybody goes to them 3 months down the road, 6 months down the road. They have to tighten up their rules. So yes, it's absolutely sustainable, and you'll see that reflected in the price. It's not going to be cheap. So if you want to save money, the buy one get three ends on Friday. It will be the most expensive challenge in the industry that I am aware of. So just being transparent there, but you know, it's pretty cool that you can earn something even when you're in drawdown. Easy, no way. I only got here for buy one, get three offer, but there's more. Just wow. Interesting. Da da da. Sean. Yeah, AZ content. You are getting salary now to trade. I mean, we haven't given all the details about Lark 3.0. It's just a little sneak peek, a little teaser of what's coming on Monday that we're going to release. We'll release all the details, and there's other stuff that's coming as well. Ghazi says that would be so great and will take a lot of pressure off the shoulders thinking about market. Yeah, 100%. You see, the thing is, when I became a full-time trader, when I was trying to become a full-time trader, I would have loved if I could almost not guarantee, because nothing's guaranteed, but if there was a way for me to not guarantee, but if I knew that, hey, even if I'm in drawdown, I'm going to get a $500 payout, that's huge because it's 500 USD. I'm in Canada, so it's like 750, 700. Or if I could get, a guaranteed 1,000 bucks USD, right? That was literally more than my rent. So that would have been crazy, right? If I show consistency, I show that I'm risk managed, I finish the month down 2%, but I could still get $1,000 salary. I mean, I'm in. That like literally was life changing, or even smaller, right? Even, $200 a month, $100 a month, depending on where you live, depending on your lifestyle. Even smaller amounts of money can be literally life changing. I mean, I don't care where you are. $100 a month, things are really expensive now. But even here in Canada, $100 a month, you can go out for like a pretty nice dinner for two people, right? With that, and that's that could be your highlight of the month. Of hey, I got an extra $100 in my pocket. I'm gonna go out with my girlfriend, my wife, and I'm gonna have a nice dinner. So it's not always just about having these massive payouts. We have to remind ourselves that hey, even just having a little bit of extra money coming in, whether it's $100, $500, $1,000, that's life changing. We can't forget that. And so that's kind of what we wanted to build. That's what I wanted when I was trying to become a full-time trader. And so that's what we built with Lark 3.0. So again, I can't release all the details now, but I think it's exactly what I wanted as a trader. So I'm very excited about that. And yeah, again, if you are in a position where you really need to save money, the buy one, get three is going to be a better offer for you right now. The two-step challenge, if that's what you like, that's getting removed on Friday. So again, you don't want to wait for that. But if you, are willing to invest in a more expensive program that has, this feature that I just outlined, I think it's very exciting. And yeah, as Ghazi says, it hopefully will take a lot of the pressure off, off the shoulders of traders. Again, I think the best way to make money in trading is not to need to make money in trading, because, if you have to force profits, if you have to force trades, it's not going to go so well. But if you have a little bit of money coming in on the side, you can wait for those A+ setups. AZ content asks, existing contents will be eligible for Lark 3.0 question mark? No. It's a completely new program. So anybody who purchased beforehand, it will not apply to them. It will only be for new purchases. There's not really any changes coming to the instant or the 3-step accounts. 2-step is getting removed, and the major changes are coming to the 1-step. Because again, the 1-step is the program that I would want to take. So we're applying the changes to the 1-step program. Bitcoin is just about to hit a oh, wait, is pound yen? No, yeah, it's Bitcoin. Bitcoin is just about to hit a 1 point it's just about to hit a 2%. What I'm trying to say is it's about to hit a 2% drop for the day. Football Market says, "Matt, did you use a template for your Excel spreadsheet?" No, I built it myself. Let me see if I can find it because I know I forgot to put it in the chat or in the yeah. Take a look at this, guy. So this is let me share this. Let me put this in the chat. So this was really good for me. Again, I've made a couple of videos on this of talking about, how much prop firm funding you need with different profit splits and whatnot. So you put in your current expenses. So I put my expenses when I went full time. So my monthly expenses at the time were 1175. Again, it was COVID. And in Canada, we're a communist country. Everything was locked down. You literally couldn't even go outside after 8 o'clock. It was against the law, which is crazy. So that's why, transportation was zero. I was in the city. I walked and biked everywhere. So, the odds of your transportation costs being zero are probably pretty slim. But for me, that's what it was at the time. Fun and entertainment. I don't even think I was spending $150 a month. That was like being generous. So 1175 is what I was paying at the time. And I just put random, dream monthly expenses, right? So rent, $5,000. I don't care where you are in the world, $5,000, unless maybe you're in LA or New York City, you can get a pretty darn nice place with 5K. Utilities, food, if you want a car upgrade, $2,500 a month. That's a crazy car. That's like I mean, that's an Escalade. I don't think you can get a Lambo for $2,500 a month unless you put like a crazy down payment. But yeah, a fun and entertainment, $1,500. So, anyways, total dream expenses, $11,400. So then it's all about having that runway. How many months of survival? So my current savings at the time was $15,000. So I had 12 months of living expenses for here, right? How much did I need for 24 months? I needed $28,200. So I had enough for 12 months of survival. So I wouldn't recommend you go full time with less than 12 months. It just gets very, very, very stressful. So how much prop firm funding do you actually need? Well, the blue ones are what you can change. So I think, expected monthly return percentage on your prop firm account, I put 3%. I think that's realistic. Obviously, the less, the better. So if you have $500,000 in funding, the 90% profit split, and you make 3% a month, right? Your net monthly profit after the profit split is $13,500, which is enough to cover your total dream monthly expenses. But that's a lot, right? So if we wanted to just cover, my regular expenses, if you have a 100K account with 3%, you're going to be getting a $2,700 payout. And look, you already have a surplus of 1525 compared to your current expenses. So you're not making enough money with a 100K account to cover your dream expenses, but you're covering enough to go full time if that's kind of your goal. So I dropped that in the chat if you guys want to pop your numbers in. It's kind of a fun thing to do. Ivelo says 12 months of survival money is the minimum. 100%. I would not recommend anybody try and go full time if they have less than 12 months of expenses. AZ content, really appreciate the compliment. That's very nice of you. Football Market says the video really put this into perspective for me. Good. I'm very, very happy to hear that. Easy content says one more sip. That's ASMR. That's funny. I mean, I got to drink my coffee eventually. My throat gets dry with all this talk, and I gotta still drink the coffee. So that's what's going on there. We're actually getting a weird jump now in Bitcoin. Something must have happened. Um, Let me see here. CNBC. Whoa, SoftBank sells its entire stake in Nvidia for $5.83 billion. That's interesting. I don't know much about SoftBank, but S&P 500 slides with tech shares under pressure. I mean, the market opened 30 minutes ago. S&P not really sliding, honestly. ZQQ, the dollar is down, the 0.3%. Oh my. Yeah, the dollar's not having a good morning. Coinbase, pound US. The S&P 500 fell on Tuesday, pressured by declines in tech following strong gains. CoreWeave was among the laggards. We looked at CoreWeave down 11%. Reinforcing the day's downbeat sentiment, a new report from ADP revealed that the fourth ending October 25th, private sector jobs creation was down more than 11,000 on average per week. Okay, so that's what's going on there. Let's see if anything good is happening on Twitter. Burry stock tracker. Slowly, then suddenly, SoftBank sells its entire stake in Nvidia for $5.83 billion. SoftBank is pumping all the proceeds right back into AI via OpenAI private equity. Interesting. Okay. Let's go to Lark. See what's going on here. McDonald's McRib has returned. Historically, every McRib comeback since 2020 has marked a Bitcoin rally. Amen. That's funny. Day 2 of Michael Burry shorting every stock that is going up 8% today. 1,000-year mortgages. That's so funny. Michelle asked if I make my own coffee. Yeah, today. Yeah, I make my own coffee. It's too snowy out here to go outside. It's so snowy. It's crazy. Football Rising. Okay. Well, I think that's it for today. We covered the markets, we covered the news, we covered Lark 3.0, we covered all sorts of good stuff. So, Michelle, #1 subscriber today. Congratulations, Michelle. You win the account. Please email us at support@larkfunding.com. I really appreciate you guys being here. There's some new guys here today. I think AZ Content, a football market. There was also Ivelo. So I really appreciate you guys being here. Grazi. I think these are some new names. So I appreciate you guys being here. Every morning we do this. I won't be doing it tomorrow morning. I have some meetings tomorrow morning, but Thursday, Friday, we'll be here. Every morning we give out an account. So make sure you're here. And I will see you guys on Thursday. Probably a new YouTube video dropping tomorrow anyways. There'll be some new content. And yeah, so I appreciate you guys being here. Have a great day. Stay safe out there. Peace.